we watched as the lights came on. Let me tell you, it was eerily dark when we first drove into this neighborhood. I want to give you kind of a look right here of what we're seeing because we're being held back right here. We're just off of Scott Boulevard, which is that way, but I want to show you what they've been doing during the overnight hours. You can see that the road is all busted up right here. And there's been increased activity within the last 30 minutes. I want you to take a look and direct your attention to, you can see that SWAT vehicle. They just moved it into a new position. No one is hurt. Everyone made it out safely. So that's the most important information I want to pass along to you. We're outside of the tracker right now. We just arrived, and I want you to direct your attention over here, and I want my photographer, DeMarcus, to be careful because we're right up against a huge ravine right here, and you can see that vehicle that went over the ravine and into that water. We are in a residential neighborhood. There are tons of homes over here, but we're also in a very heavily wooded area. We have a lot of huge, older, aging trees here in Atlanta. And when the ground is saturated, they can sometimes uproot and topple over. I know that there is a huge police presence here. A major investigation is underway, and I want you to kind of take a look because you can see that this area is all cordoned off. There are a number of DeKalb police who are on the scene. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vehicles I see with blue flashing lights. We're inside the Windward Forest Apartments here in DeKalb County, just off of Hillendale Drive. And Hillendale Drive kind of runs parallel to I-20. You just get off I-20 and it's right here. I'm seeing the crime scene investigation unit pull up to the scene right now as we speak. And they're centering a lot of their investigation on the parking lot right there. And I could see in the distance, in the middle of the parking lot, what looked to be some white towels and clothing that appeared to be covered in blood. Again, that's in the center of the parking lot, and that's where a lot of the police activity is right here. This whole area is cordoned off. I'm watching people who live in this community come outside and say, you know, what is going on here? And I'm also seeing a lot of children too who are getting ready to get on the school bus and head off to school and being woken up to this huge police presence. We're going to continue to follow this. Once we learn more information specifically from DeKalb Police, we'll pass that information along to you on our website and inside the Atlanta News First app. We're live here in DeKalb County. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
Don, you were telling us that the power is back on in that area this morning, it looks like.
Yeah, we arrived here just after 4 o'clock, and then by 4:30 we watched as the lights came on. Let me tell you, it was eerily dark when we first drove into this neighborhood, but then all the street lamps came on and you could see all the lights in people's homes coming on as well. I want to show you the area because you can see that it's cordoned off at this intersection, and then just up the way there you can see a massive tree. That tree came down across some power lines. Those power lines are still draped across the street here. This is Laverne Drive and Peak Road. If you're driving in this neighborhood and you come to this area, you're going to be turned away because it is blocked off. Crews have been here throughout the overnight area, securing this area. We also saw Atlanta Police here when we were here early this morning. Crews with Georgia Power worked to restore the power. Again, we watched as it came back on right around 4:30. Power crews will likely be back here at the scene later this morning just to get a permanent fix because, like I mentioned, those lines are still draped across the street right here. I did check with Georgia Power, and there's only spotty outages throughout the metro and still in this area here as well. But really, like I mentioned, only spotty, a handful of customers without power at this hour. So you want to keep that in mind as you're traveling out and about. Like Rodney was saying, the streets are still a bit wet. It can be slick, a little breezy out here. So keep that in mind. Give yourself some extra time this morning. We're live here in Northwest Atlanta. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.